Good morning and welcome to Sherburne Public Library Zoom Storytime. Let's start out with our poem about pumpkins. Everybody pretend to be a pumpkin. Pumpkins can be big, pumpkins can be small, pumpkins can be short, pumpkins can be tall, pumpkins can be orange, pumpkins can be green, but a polka-dotted pumpkin I've never seen. Can we try that again? Okay. Be a big pumpkin. Pumpkins can be big. Pumpkins can be small. Pumpkins can be short. Pumpkins can be tall. Pumpkins can be orange. Pumpkins can be green. But a polka-dotted pumpkin I've never seen. Good job. Speaking of pumpkins, today we're going to read The Biggest Pumpkin Ever by Steven Kroll, illustrated by Jeni Bassett. The Biggest Pumpkin Ever. Notice, here's the mouse looking out into his garden. You see some lettuce and some tomatoes, and over here is a little pumpkin. Notice, what color is that little pumpkin? It's green. There it is again, that little green pumpkin. When pumpkins first start out, they start out green. Once there were two mice who fell in love with the same pumpkin. Goodness, I wonder what will happen. Clayton, the village mouse, noticed it one day in his parents' vegetable garden. It was still little and green, but Clayton thought he could make it grow really big. It might even get big enough to win the grand prize at the town pumpkin contest. Desmond, the field mouse, discovered the pumpkin the same day. He thought that if he helped it grow, it could become the biggest jack-o'-lantern in the neighborhood. That afternoon, Clayton watered the pumpkin. He also mixed up some fertilizer of manure and water. He spread the mixture around the pumpkin to make it grow larger. Desmond didn't want to be seen by Clayton and his family, so he waited until after dark before he crept into the garden. He watered the pumpkin too. He also spread some manure mixed with water around it. The next day, Clayton watered and fertilized the pumpkin again. The next night, Desmond did the same, and the pumpkin began to grow and grow and grow and grow. By the end of the month, the pumpkin was so large, Clayton couldn't believe his eyes. The pumpkin's almost as big as he is. My goodness, said Clayton's mother, and it's not even full grown. Clayton shrugged. All I do is water it, he said. Clayton's mother whispered in his ear, if you want the pumpkin to grow bigger, faster, she said, you should use sugar water. That night, Desmond brought his brother Morris to see the pumpkin. Morris knew everything there was to know about growing things. That's some pumpkin, he said. Desmond shrugged. All I do is water it, he said. Morris whispered in his ear. You should try using sugar water, he said. The next day, Clayton dug a small hole beside the pumpkin vine. In the hole, he placed a bowl full of sugar water. He cut into the vine a few inches from the pumpkin. In the cut, he put one end of a piece of candle wick. Then he put the other end in the bowl of sugar water. That night, on the other side of the pumpkin, Desmond did exactly the same thing. Within a week, the pumpkin was twice the size it had been. Within 2 weeks, it was absolutely enormous. It's bigger than Clayton. Are Clayton and Desmond? They are mice. Clayton was amazed. He ran down the road and peeked into his friend Jimmy's pumpkin patch. The pumpkin Jimmy was growing for the contest looked much smaller. Clayton scratched his head. I have an amazing pumpkin, he said out loud, and I think I'm going to win the contest. Here's Jimmy's pumpkin. That night, Desmond and his brother Morris spent a long time looking at the pumpkin. How do you think it got that big? Desmond asked. Morris shrugged. A little luck, a little skill. It's going to make some jack-o'-lantern, said Desmond. It sure is, said Morris. A week later, Clayton noticed the pumpkin was bigger than the family car. During the day, everyone he knew came by to admire it. And at night, all the field mice gathered round to do the same. By now, summer was almost over. In a week, the pumpkin would be full grown and start turning yellowish and then orange. A few weeks after that, it would be ripe and ready for the pumpkin contest. Clayton could hardly wait. The pumpkin was growing so fast, it would soon be larger than his house. Then he had a terrible thought. If the pumpkin was so big, how would he get it to the contest? It wouldn't fit in his red wagon. It wouldn't even fit in the truck. Clayton decided to worry about that when the time came. Look at the pumpkin. Big house. That night, the weather grew colder. Thinking there might be an early frost, Clayton rushed out to the pumpkin with his blanket. One was not enough. Soon he was rushing back and forth, carrying all the blankets from the house. As he worked, he hummed a little song. And as he hummed, he heard someone else singing. He also began to realize that someone else was covering the pumpkin with blankets. Desmond, too, had seen the danger of an early frost. He, too, had brought blankets for the pumpkin, and as he worked, he sang a little song. And as he sang, he began to realize that someone else was working and humming. Clayton stopped humming. He put down his pile of blankets and peered around the corner of the pumpkin. Desmond stopped singing. He put down his blankets and peered around the corner of the pumpkin. The two of them bumped heads and fell down. You've been feeding the pumpkin, said Clayton. You've been feeding the pumpkin, said Desmond. That's why it got so big, said Clayton. That's why it got so big, said Desmond. They burst out laughing. When everything had been explained, Clayton said, I know I'll win the contest if I can get the pumpkin to town. Desmond smiled. I'll help you. Just let me carve the pumpkin into a jack-o'-lantern for Halloween when the contest is over. It's a deal, said Clayton. A deal, said Desmond, and they shook on it. The morning of the contest was bright and sunny. Mice were bringing their pumpkins to the town square by truck and car and wagon. Some were rolling them along the ground. Roll pumpkin. Look what's happening. They're using motorcycles. Can you make a motorcycle sound? Vroom, vroom. Suddenly, they all stopped short. Over the fields came the biggest pumpkin anyone had ever seen. It was being pulled by 100 field mice on motorcycles. When the pumpkin reached town, it was too big for any of the streets. Clayton had to explain why he couldn't bring it to the square. The mayor understood at once. He led the crowd to Clayton's pumpkin and pinned the first prize ribbon on its side. Then everyone danced around it. Who would have believed this, said Clayton as he danced. Who would have believed this, said Desmond at the same moment. When the celebration was over, the 100 field mice pulled the pumpkin back to the field. The day before Halloween, they carved it into the best jack-o'-lantern ever. When you carve a pumpkin, what comes out of the middle? All of the pumpkins. Have you ever tried a pumpkin seed? You gotta wait till you gotta roast them first. And on Halloween night, its wonderful smiling face could be seen glowing for miles around. And that's the end of our story, The Biggest Pumpkin Ever, by Steven Kroll, illustrated by Jeni Bassett. Speaking of pumpkins, I have our song about pumpkins where we will count our pumpkins. Give it a try. 1 orange, 2 orange, 3 orange pumpkins, 4 orange, 5 orange, 6 orange pumpkins, 7 orange, 8 orange, 9 orange pumpkins, 10 pumpkins growing on the vine. Not bad. Let's count our pumpkins on this page. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 orange pumpkins. Let's try our song one more time. 1 orange, 2 orange, 3 orange pumpkins, 4 orange, 5 orange, 6 orange pumpkins, 7 orange, 8 orange, 9 orange pumpkins, 10 pumpkins growing on the vine. Good job. Now, pumpkin begins with the letter P. Here's another example. This is a big P and a little p. Can you think of some things that begin with the letter P? Let's sing our ABC song and you can think of some things. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me? Let's go look for the letter P. Let's go look for the letter P. Let's go look for the letter P. Way down yonder in the library. Picking up peas and putting them in our basket. Picking up peas and putting them in our basket. Picking up peas and putting them in our basket. Way down yonder in the library. So I have some things that begin with the letter P. And this one we've just been talking about. It's very tiny, but it's a pumpkin. And I also had a piggy. And what color is the piggy? It's pink, a pink piggy. Here we have a pickle. And here we have a piece of pizza. Piece and pizza begin with the letter P. I also have a very tiny pan. Pan begins with the letter P. And then we have paints and a paintbrush. Paint begins with the letter P. So those are all things that begin with the letter P. I also have some books here at the library. If you have a chance to come to the Sherburne Public Library, you can check out. We first have Peanut Goes for the Gold, the letter P. Ooh, Strange Planet begins with the P, the sneaking, hiding, vibrating creature. Poop Song has a P at the beginning and at the end. And this book was written by the guy who wrote Pete the Cat. And there's even music that goes with it. Here's another book that has music to go with it. The Palettro Man begins with the letter P, with music by Lucky Diaz. Here we have The Lost Package. Package begins with the letter P. Girls and boys come out to play. Play begins with the letter P. Here's one. Love is powerful begins with the letter P. And finally, a book about peace begins with the letter P. All those P words. Okay, I have one more song I'd like to do with you today. We did this last time, our song about 5 crows all shiny and black. Here we go. 5 crows all shiny and black sat on a scarecrow's back, eating some most delicious corn. Yum, yum. Scarecrow winked and shouted, boo! Scared one crow and away he flew. Now there are 4 black shiny crows. Caw, caw. 4 crows all shiny and black sat on a scarecrow's back, eating some most delicious corn. Yum, yum. Scarecrow winked and shouted, boo! Scared one crow and away he flew. Now there are 3 black shiny crows. Caw, caw. Let's count the crows. 1, 2, 3. 3 crows. 3 crows all shiny and black sat on a scarecrow's back, eating some most delicious corn. Yum, yum. Scarecrow winked and shouted, boo! Scared one crow and away he flew. Now there are 2 black shiny crows. Caw, caw. Let's count them. 1, 2. 2 crows all shiny and black sat on a scarecrow's back, eating some most delicious corn. Yum, yum. Scarecrow winked and shouted, boo! Scared one crow and away she flew. Now there is 1 black shiny crow. Caw, caw. 1 black and shiny crow sat on a scarecrow's back, eating some most delicious corn. Yum, yum. Scarecrow winked and shouted, boo! Scared one crow and away he flew. Now there are no black shiny crows. Caw, caw. And Mr. Mike made a mistake that time, but it's okay to make mistakes. You just got to keep going. Now, we've been talking about our letter P, and our craft this week is making a pumpkin. So if you come to the library, you can get a kit like this with different pieces that you can glue together to make a pumpkin. And your pumpkin can have a happy face, or it can have a sad face. This one also has a green stem, and this one has a brown stem. So you can make them to look whichever way you would like. You can glue it on there. And even I've got circles if you want to make it have like a surprised mouth. So come on down to the library and you can pick up a pumpkin craft to take home and create your own jack-o'-lantern. You'll just need some glue and to clean up after you're done. Okay, that brings us to the end of story time. So it's time to be a teddy bear. Teddy bear, turn around. Teddy bear, touch the ground. Teddy bear, show your shoe. Teddy bear, that will do. Teddy bear, reach up high. Teddy bear, touch the sky. Teddy bear, don't you sigh. Teddy bear, wave goodbye. Great job. Oh, and I almost forgot. In a couple weeks, Saturday, October 30th, the day before Halloween, we are having our Fall Family Festival from 2 to 4 p.m. in the Gaines Park next to the library. We're going to have a costume contest, a haunted walk, some crafts you can take, a story walk, cider and donuts, and even a game. So if you're interested, ask Mom and Dad or Grandma and Grandpa to come to the Fall Family Festival, Saturday, October 30th from 2 to 4 p.m. in Gaines Park. Hope to see you there and keep on reading. Have a great day.